Hey, what's going on, students? This is Pastor Braden here, and we are doing our Monday devotion. We are in the book of 2 Corinthians, and we're going to be in chapter 10. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and read that, so go ahead and flip to 2 Corinthians chapter 10. It says this, starting in verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war against the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive to obey Christ. So Paul is talking about some things here. And if you look in verse 2, it talks about walking according to the flesh. He says, for though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war according to the flesh. So talking about the flesh, our sin nature, this thing that we walk in, right? We should not walk according to the flesh, right? We should not walk in our sinful desires, but yet we live in the flesh. We are sinful beings. So he's saying, for this battle that we're in is we're waging war against the flesh, right? And we are not doing it according to the flesh, right? We're not physically fighting this battle, but we have this spiritual battle, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. And so I want to challenge you today with this, is that when you're walking this life, when you're living this life and you're battling through sin, know this. One, you have victory in that if you have Christ. But two is we're not fighting a physical battle right now. We are fighting a spiritual battle. And there's a spiritual enemy and a spiritual heavenly Father that is on our side, and an enemy that is against us. And so we want to walk according to what God says, according to the Spirit and not of the flesh. And then we see in verse 5, we destroy arguments of every lofty opinion raised up against the knowledge of God, right? We tear down those arguments that are false and contrary to God. So when people come to you and they bring up some lofty, uneducated, non-godly argument, right? You need to have good doctrine to say, hey, that's true or untrue, right? And then I like this last part. It says, and take every thought captive to obey Christ. I think the key here is this, is though that we live in a sinful body, though many will come against us, we need to take every thought captive, our own flesh, what people bring against us, and we need to obey Christ first and foremost. Is that we need to follow him and follow in his direction, follow his will. Because if you're in his will, you're not going to be living according to your flesh, because you'll be living according to the Spirit. If you're in his will and you're taking every thought captive to obey Christ, you'll be in his word and entrenched in his word, so that you will obey him and know what is right and what is wrong. And when people bring those arguments, you'll say, that's either godly or that's not. So therefore, I will obey what Jesus tells me first. And so I challenge you with that today. Live holy, obey Christ, dig into the scriptures. I love you guys. I know it was a short teaching, so you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. Bye.